Welcome everybody to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge, episode number 137. A
Hey,
little bit of Stallone up in there. Anyways, there's an Addy here, and there's a Pink.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, and it's me, Alex, too. In case you forgot about me.
hey, it's Pat Albert.
Oh no! Oh god, at least I'm not voiced by a rapist. That I'm aware
Not
of.
anymore.
That'd suck if like God was like, hey, secretly you've been voiced by a rapist this entire time. I've stuck his throat inside yours. Anyways, Pink, what you got going up on your channel, man?
Oh, nothing.
Wonderful. Addy.
Probably nothing.
Alright, I got more episodes of playing Total War Medieval 2 as the Holy Roman Empire coming up on my channel. I may decide to do something else in another Total War game, or maybe do something else in some other game. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played Civ 6 on the channel, and I also kind of feel like playing Dark Souls 2 on the channel. But fuck it.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
Alright.
need to give people the dark sauce.
Yes. Dark sauce for their dark soul, so it doesn't come out of their dark hole. Their
Yeah.
stinky soul doesn't come out of their dark hole.
I was about to say.
Alright. Pink, what you been doing this past week, man?
not a lot. Not a lot. So, Ethiopia in Civ 6 released last week. Didn't
I've
really
not-
play a lot until this week, so
I've not been paying attention. What can they do that's special?
let me open up Wikipedia real quick because I can't remember off the top of my head.
They're a
Civ
religion, Civ, right?
Yes. They are very centered on religion and culture. Ethiopia.
And every past Civ game, well, not necessarily every, but in Civ 5 and I think Civ 4, their special unit was dudes with show-tell swords. Is that still the case here?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
It's something different that I can't remember the name of. It is a cavalry unit. Is it cavalry? No, it's I want to say it's a courser replacement.
Ah. Well, the coursers are cavalry, aren't they?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, you know what? No, Civ 4, their unique unit was the show-tell, and Civ 5, their unique unit was the soldiers that fought in World War II or World War One.
Yeah.
The siege of Addis Ababa. That largely, when Haile Selassie is the leader of Ethiopia, it's pretty much entirely focused just on the siege of Addis Ababa.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Italy.
All right.
Yeah,
They're-
just fuck you, Italy. No,
yeah.
I like that Italy got beaten by Ethiopia. And this being colonial times, the Europeans were super racist. So they were like, oh, this is so embarrassing. We need to go back and beat Ethiopia again to prove that we need to go back and beat them to prove that we aren't beaten by Africans. Then they went back down to Ethiopia and they got beaten again.
Yep.
Take that. If you didn't learn the lesson the first time, I guess. Definition of insanity
Yeah.
or something.
All right. So after Google finally decided to load,
Googly.
their ability, civ ability, is they get +1 faith from improved resources, and their international trade routes provide 0.5 faith for each resource in the origin city.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna end up competing with Matsumusa and Poundmaker in that regard. Though each
Yeah.
of them are going for different aspects from their trade. Matsumusa wants money, Poundmaker wants production.
Right. It is very much along those two civs. He's like a faith Musa.
Yes, I see. But like Poundmaker makes just as much production and food from internal trade routes as he does from external ones, though, doesn't he?
Yes.
So Poundmaker's got more reason to just tell everyone else to leave. What's the actual leader ability from Menelik? Oh, I forget. Do they have a unique building or a unique district?
They do. It's a Raccoon Church. those stone churches that they carved out and are absolutely incredible. So
Oh, okay. I assume that they just increased faith.
yeah, and they get like bonuses from adjacent mountains. I want to say.
Ah, okay.
I believe they get adjacency bonuses from mountains and hills because I plopped one down and it produced like 7 faith on that single tile, and I was like, oh, good lord, that's a lot of faith. That's a
So,
lot of George Michael right there.
yeah. So it sounds like Menelik wants to shoot for the mountains in the same way that Pacha does.
Yes, he can't work mountain tiles, but he does want to settle near mountains.
Yeah,
And a lot of his faith-based stuff is based around hills, so he's like Georgia, but 1,000 times better.
yeah, that's not hard.
Yeah,
It
I
kind of
think
cracks me up.
I think that's actually what his leader ability is. That I want to say his units don't receive a movement penalty from mountains, or not mountains, hills. Pardon me. And I want to say his unique unit as well, the Oromo Cavalry. They also get that weird Georgia type bonus where they get like +5 or 10 combat strength from fighting on hills.
Huh. Very
Yeah,
situational.
yeah,
I think at this point, like, the fact that the majority of the content they're releasing now is just for Red Death, and like we're just getting the occasional Civ. I feel like they're pretty much confirming that they've just given up on trying to make Civ 6 really a better game, and they're just kind of making up a more game.
I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what they've stated in the past when they unveiled their New Frontier pass. They were like, "Yeah, we're not adding any more mechanics or anything like that because we feel like Civ 6 is in a good place, and we're just gonna be giving you more content instead of more add-ons."
And of course, it would kill them to buff Gandhi or buff uh, Georgia
Yeah.
because
On the
people
bonding with nukes.
have because people have already paid for Gandhi in Georgia, so there's no reason for them, like, there's no reason for Take Two to say buff things are already in the game. Take Two is like,
Right.
sell.
There's no incentive there.
Yes.
Imagine if Take-Two released buffs for those civilizations, but then they were like $9.99.
Actually good Gandhi DLC.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia and Gandhi aren't unplayable. They just aren't as good as everyone else.
Right. Because there are a lot of civs in that game that are very okay, average, some very mediocre. It's just that they get far outshined by all the OP quote unquote civs.
Japan,
Because
Australia,
yeah,
the
they do
Maori,
so very well. It's really it's like when you
Colombia.
compare all the bottom and mid tier civs, there's not that drastic a difference. But when you compare the bottom tier civs with the top tier civs, there's a incredible difference of such an immeasurable magnitude. It's really hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Like you got to see it in action to really understand how unbalanced they are.
Gandhi's whole thing is just like, oh, get a little bit of extra faith from having other people's religions in your cities. Also, you can build this thing on the ground that gives you another food. And then Japan
Yeah.
is like, oh, millions of production from just building tight cities, and you get samurai, who are one of the best units in the game, and also you get 30% cheaper building of religious districts, culture districts, military districts. Oh, also electronics factories, which provide more culture for every city that they can reach, so there's even more reason to build your cities tightly packed together. And we're not even fucking getting started on Australia. Yeah, there's a pretty vast difference there.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay, so playing Ethiopia, how strong do you think they shake out? I'm going to assume not as strong as Grand Columbia.
No, but they are. I would say they're fairly strong. It's like as a culture and faith civ, they are very very strong. They can kind of go into science as well, but I would not recommend domination. It seems kind of awkward for that playstyle.
Ethiopia has never been a domination civ.
Yeah. So they did get released with the new Secret Societies game mode though, or whatever they want to call that. Kind of like the apocalypse mode that they added with the Maya
Yeah.
and Gran Colombia. So that one, there's actually a faction secret society in that game mode that does greatly elevate the Ethiopia play style because there's a society you can join that will give you plus 30% culture, and I want to say it's culture and science from the amount of faith that you're turning out in a city. And since
Ooh.
Ethiopia can churn out a lot of faith, that
Ooh.
will translate into a very large percentage of science and culture you'll be getting per turn.
Yeah.
So you can steer hardcore into faith and not have to worry about building any culture or scientific districts at all, because that society will just carry you through the early and mid game.
Nice.
So they do not get left behind, and that secret society ability greatly helps their play style. So they're a good civ on their own. With the secret society game mode turned on, they are a great civ.
Yeah, if you play this one oddball game mode that you're going to play once,
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. It's very weird. I think it kind of detracts from the game because it adds another layer of AI stupidity where if you're not in the same secret society, they just won't like you,
Yeah.
which is dumb. So I haven't been liking that aspect of it. But the bonuses you get from the secret societies, they're actually very fun. And I don't know if I'd play with them all the time, but they're definitely fun to play around with.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing, but it's not really, like, the game's balance was not designed for it.
No.
So some civs fall behind far harder than others, I assume.
Yeah. At the same time, though, if you wanted, I want to say everyone's claiming like the vampire secret society is overpowered because apparently they can get you lots of yields in your cities and come with vampire units, which get stronger with each era. I want to say I don't know. I haven't actually tested anything out with that yet.
I like the
But I
idea that
guess you could have Gandhi join a vampire cult and go for a domination win with that.
I mean, Gandhi's elephants are strong when they come about, and you can tell that Gandhi's elephants were strong because in the game where I played as India, I was using elephants well after that I was supposed to stop using elephants.
Yeah.
And you could hear Soon having to kill elephants constantly in that game. Addy, you missed out, man. Like, there's just a game where the whole thing was pick one of the worst civs in the game and try to go for the worst victory type with them. Just hobble yourself. So I was like, oh, obviously military Gandhi. And I just flooded Soon's Norway with elephants.
I figured.
And because...
There's a reason Rome jacked them.
Yeah. And because Soon plays with his TV, like his computer monitor sound on, but he goes through his phone on Discord. So we just constantly kept hearing from his side the sounds of elephants dying. He couldn't match the horde, I think. I eventually did wind up taking a good couple of his cities.
Yeah.
We ended up conceding that game, but who did we concede it to?
I don't recall.
I think we conceded it to you because it was generally agreed that while I was taking cities, I wasn't taking them nearly fast enough to beat you and everybody else on the map before the game ran out of time.
Because I think I had the luxury of spawning a significant deal away from you.
And there was a big
and
row.
Soon wasn't much closer.
Yeah. There was a big row of mountains in several city-states, I think, too.
Yeah.
I think each of us walked away with a victory out of the games we played their 3-player. I think you won that one. Obviously, I won the one with Russia because you guys were like, oh, if we don't stop him now, it's just over. And And we conceded soon the game when we were playing on islands because I couldn't convert his last city, so it was just waiting until he won a culture victory or something like that.
Right. We were waiting on him to launch into space with the Inca.
Yes. So yeah, each of us got a win. You were doing really strong in that first game with like a science victory or a culture victory, something like that.
Yeah, it was culture because science didn't seem the way to go with Spain.
Yeah. Or was it like? Wait, doesn't never mind. Anyways, you do anything else?
The only other thing I've done this week is the Umbrella Academy season 2 came out yesterday, and I've watched maybe the first 4 episodes.
Is it better than season 1?
I'd say I haven't seen season 1 in a while. It's a significant while. I haven't seen it since it first came out.
Do they start off by
Whenever that
dropping an
was.
anvil on that big gorilla guy's head?
Luther's the worst. Yeah, it's about on par with season 1. I don't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't see many significant changes that they've made to really improve or what's the word I'm looking for? Devalue this season. It doesn't feel like a step up. It doesn't feel like a step down. It's just kind of
A step.
here's another season. So, I mean, that's all right because it was a very solid show to me.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm not feeling that I like either season better or worse than the other. So it's just kind of another season, which is fine for them because, solid show. It's good to have another solid season.
Upon thinking, so they kind of already finished the main story beat, which is, oh no, apocalypse. What's causing the apocalypse? Oh, we found out what's causing the apocalypse and we stopped that.
Right.
But, the two most popular characters on the show were Klaus and Number 5. And didn't both of them kind of already finish their character arcs in season 1?
Yeah, for the most part. And those two do get a significant decrease, I would say, in screen time.
Right, despite being everyone's favorite characters.
Yeah, Klaus has already done his deal, so you don't get a lot of screen time from him, and any screen time you do get, it's not really relevant.
It's Klaus being the funny one.
Yeah, it's Klaus being the funny one, and he's kind of fallen back into that rut of before his character development occurred. There's not much to him anymore. Which it's unfortunate, but it is hard to build up after that because they handled him so very well in the first season.
Yeah.
So this one, it's not terrible, but you can tell that they're kind of spinning their wheels trying to figure out what they were supposed to do next with him.
I mean, I wouldn't put Klaus in the background, but I would try to focus him into supporting someone like Luther, Diego, and Ellen Page, and
Allison.
Like, all 4 of those never really, Ellen Page's character had an arc, but it was kind of a from good to bad arc, so they need to reverse it. Luther, Diego, and Allison did not progress as characters last season. They started as douchebags, they ended it as douchebags.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Diego progressed a little bit, but Luther and Allison are both very, very selfish characters still at the end of that season. That's why everybody hates Luther, is because he's such a selfish he comes off as if he's supposed to be the Captain America or the Superman of the group, when he's actually just a douchebag. So I wouldn't have put Klaus and Number 5 into the background, and I definitely would not have regressed them, because that's the number one way to piss off an audience, is regressing a character's arc just because you've ran out of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, if I've got nothing better to do with them, I would just try and fit them into ways that they can support another character's arc.
They've kind of done that a little bit. They've occasionally put Klaus with Allison, but nothing significant has really come out of that, so that is mildly disappointing.
I feel like Klaus would do better supporting Diego, honestly.
Those two like never get screen time together this season, or at least thus far from what I've seen. Which they had good moments in the previous season. So you would think that would be somebody in the back would have noticed, hey, this scene here worked out very well. Let's see what we can build upon with it in the next season. But so far that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I never like saw there being a real connection between Klaus and Number 5 and Allison. Not Number 5, Luther and Allison.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas Diego, they kind of had that little bit that they get along, but at the same time, there's kind of that unease there, partly because Diego comes off as, I don't want to say prejudiced, but like the most macho of them, and Klaus is very not macho.
Right.
And Diego's very, conventional, do things the most obvious way possible, which is why he's the only one that stays a vigilante. And Klaus is very unconventional. So I feel like there's a good contrast there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like having Klaus around would provide Diego a good way to learn ways that he should change,
Yeah.
Anyways, is there a particular highlight of the episodes you've seen so far?
Thus far, not really.
Is there a particular low light?
I would say the low light for me has been what we've been discussing. It's kind of relegating Klaus to the background, and 5 feels like not a complete, but almost a complete retread of season 1.
Oh no, he's back to just being an asshole.
He's retained his sort of his character development from the previous season, but the plot line of season 1 is kind of being rehashed here.
Oh,
it feels like it's a lot of the same thing.
So he's again being like, yo, the future's super fucked, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with giving a character time travel. He has to always be like, oh, future's super fucked, bro. At a certain point, it just kind of becomes like literally nothing. The heroes can't do anything. The world is just set to self-destruct at some point. Yeah. Anything else to say about it?
Thus far, no.
All right. Addie, what you been up to Oh, go ahead, Pink, finish.
I was going to say, I will probably be able to finish the season, assuming it's the same amount of episodes of last season. I'll probably finish it this week or at least next week, depending on how work plays out. So I will definitely discuss it more in depth then.
All right. Addie, what you been up to this past week, man?
So, literally a day after we finished the last podcast on Sunday, technically the day it came out, whatever, I finished Final Fantasy VII.
Ooh, all right.
I finished. I mean, I got the final boss down to half health, and then it wiped all of my team with one move, and I would have needed to grind. So I just looked up the ending on YouTube because I was close enough.
Oh man, so you didn't get the bit where you can finish the final boss with any move you want?
Oh, it's actually scripted.
Oh, I know that there's a script. Like, there's a way that you can fuck it up though. That Cloud won't do the scripted move, and instead you'll just do whatever move you tell Cloud to. So Cloud can just kill the final boss with like, oh, normal slash. Boop.
But the thing is that is not the final boss though. That's a victory round.
I mean, like, you can say it's not a boss, but like the game is like, oh, final boss inside of the mind. No. So, like, okay, can we just go ahead and say spoilers for Final Fantasy VII? The game's fucking 22 years old now, or 23 maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, the final boss, which is not actually really a boss, it's just a cutscene.
Close your ears, Pink.
I will try.
Is fighting Sephiroth inside of the mind after you kill his one-winged angel form, correct?
Oh no, I wasn't close my ears.
I know you were so big into Final Fantasy VII, Pink. How are you gonna go back?
No!
Boy, I am making lots of pop noises with my mouth right now.
Nice.
It's a good thing I got this pop guard, or else I'd be popping the shit out of my mic. Anyways, so yeah, you can kill Sephiroth with any move you want if you figure out what to do there. But the game
I-
wants you
I-
to use Omni Slash.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to figure it out anyway, so I would have just done it the way I watched it with Omni Slash.
Ha! And Sephiroth is half naked in Cloud's mind, isn't he?
Ooh.
No. Sephiroth is like Sephiroth is a naked torso.
Oh,
in
his one-winged angel form, yeah, he's a naked torso coming out of a cloud. But like, for the
Yeah.
final bit where he's inside your mind or whatever, right?
No, I don't think he's half naked in inside of Cloud's mind. I think he has his normal clothes on.
Oh, okay.
Cloud doesn't imagine him with his clothes off.
No,
What a
not yet.
loser.
No, Sephiroth imagines Cloud with his clothes off.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's all fine because Sephiroth is Cloud.
Yeah. Do you like Final Fantasy, Pink?
Oh, I like it very much.
Yeah.
My favorite part. So I like how my favorite part of the story. I really liked it when they cleared shit up with Cloud's actual like life and backstory, and then they went, well, yes, but also the other things are also true. So Cloud is a separate person who couldn't get into Soldier and just took up the life of Zack. What's his face? He's also a Sephiroth clone that was born 5 years ago at the same time. I don't know how that works.
Well, I guess Zack really just took care of that Sephiroth clone. I mean, were Zack and Sephiroth supposed to have gotten along?
They never talked about it.
Oh, they probably never even met, right? Because Sephiroth was rolling with...
No, they did. They did.
They did.
So, yeah, so what happened is Cloud was a child living in the same village as Tifa when they were very small. And Cloud was not in Tifa's friend circle, but one day, I think it was on the day that Tifa's mother died, Cloud tried to get friendlier with Tifa, and it went nowhere. And then later on, he just asked her out to a date, and she just went, and everyone was surprised.
Heh.
Like they're both like, nobody thought that would happen. Because all of this info is revealed when Tifa enters Cloud's mind, and they reminisce about the past and try to figure out what's true and what's not.
Ah.
So Tifa is like, I didn't think you would ask me out, and Cloud is like, I didn't think you'd come. So that was an interesting interaction.
And later Final Fantasies pretty much entirely treat Aerith as the canon romance, right?
I'm not sure, kind of, but no, actually. I'll get back to that point. But no, actually not really. Kind of, but not really. So then it is revealed that Zack was the guy who went with Sephiroth to the village when it got burnt. And
did Zack just stand by and watch Sephiroth commit war crimes?
No. So what they reveal is that the team of people that got sent out was Sephiroth, Zack, and two soldiers, but not Zack soldier, not all capital soldiers, just the army people.
Were they not? Was one of them not gacked?
No, I don't think so. But one of them was Cloud, though.
Oh. Okay.
So what happened is, Zack went through with Sephiroth through the cloud to the freaking town, and got up all the way onto the reactor after Sephiroth has gone mad. Sephiroth then promptly slapped his spine a bit. Didn't kill him yet, but probably slapped his spine a bit, or at least knocked his lights out for a while. Cloud ran up, stole Zack's sword, which is how he got the Buster Sword. Freaking ran up to Sephiroth and just impaled him. Sephiroth shrugged it off. Sephiroth then continued to impale Cloud, who then returned. who then freaking answered back by also no selling getting freaking impaled on a sword, and just threw Sephiroth into the abyss. And that's basically why Sephiroth and Cloud have such a big rivalry, because they killed each other more or less. So
and I assume that's when Cloud got his amnesia and woke up thinking he was Zack.
No, that's actually not, like, I don't think that they ever talk about when Cloud got his amnesia, but it would have to be after a part that's not even in the game.
Oh, Zack's death?
Yeah, Zack's death.
Ah,
Zack's death is never touched upon in the game at all.
So it was just a Crisis Core thing.
No, it was an Advent Children thing. Crisis Core was I think I looked it up and it was a Final Fantasy VIII thing. Crisis Core.
Are you sure? I thought Crisis Core was the prequel that focused around, like, when Sephiroth was sane, Zack was still alive, and, like, Gact was rolling with them.
I'm gonna. Okay, no, you are right. It is 7. So you might be right. You're probably right because I didn't look too much into it.
Yeah, and I remember there being, like, Sephiroth used to be a part of, like, a 3-man team, and one of them was Gact, and the other one was not Vincent Valentine, but a name very close to it. And remind me, why does Vincent Valentine hate Sephiroth?
I never got Vincent because apparently he's in a cave and I couldn't find the cave.
Right, you missed both of the secret party members.
I didn't miss both of them. I messed up recruiting one of them and then just didn't feel like grinding Yuffie out because Yuffie didn't feel like a character I'd enjoy particularly. And Vincent, I looked up Vincent and I saw that he's hidden in a cave and I'm like, okay, well there's like 30 different caves on the map, so he can be in any one of these. Because I didn't want to actually like I wanted to play through the game naturally, more or less. I mean, there were times when I did use walkthrough, but that wasn't that was when I couldn't discern where the graphics ended and where the actual game began. Because sometimes I would just get stuck in the freaking geometry, or like I I think that a light that actually was there to signify that you can go that way. I thought I would think that's just part of the environment because usually it would be stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess that's a thing where you and I differ. I hoard every party member I can in RPG games. The instant I found out Vincent was in a cave, I would either look up which cave or I would just start clearing out every fucking cave systematically.
I will find you.
Yeah, the Zod bit from Man of Steel. I will find him. Anyways, Eddie.
Yeah. So where was I with this thing? Oh yeah, Cloud gets the Buster Sword, kills Sephiroth, probably dies. That's probably when they gave him the Genova cells to keep him alive or whatever, and turn him into a Sephiroth clone somehow, even though Genova is not Sephiroth.
Yeah, right. But she did birth him or something like that, right? Or he was made from her cells or something like that.
Well, neither Advent Children nor actual 7 particularly explain it very well what the hell's going on with Sephiroth, whether he was artificially made or whatever, or if he was actually just a normal person who went into soldier. Because according to the game, Sephiroth is the child of Hojo and Genova. Hojo being a scientist for Shinra, and Genova being a goddess. But
Yeah.
technically, that could just like that might just be a thing of Hojo being possessive of the people he's worked on, because all of the soldiers, and Sephiroth was one of the better soldiers, all of the soldiers are injected with Genova cells. So that's when these things get muddied.
Oh, I see.
So it could be that he's actually the son of Genova and Hojo, or it could just be that could be Hojo saying, "Yes, I was the person who injected him with Genova cells." So that, yeah.
All right.
What else was I going to say?
Does the
one
ending
big
to the game? Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Does the ending to the game feel particularly satisfying?
No, it feels confusing. If
Yeah,
anything.
Sephiroth wasn't naked.
How am I supposed to finish this game without a naked Sephiroth?
Like the biggest thing with the ending for me that was confusing really is like just the whole sequence that led up to it, and also the cutscene be just making no sense for the story that was happening up until then.
Yeah.
because Sephiroth dies. And then Holy just disappears, and Holy was a spell that they were trying to get to stop the meteor falling onto the Earth, like the freaking Majora's Mask moon. So Holy just disappears. Ares died for jack shit. Cloud fought for jack shit. And everyone is like, well, that's fine, whatever, let's just go home.
The meteorite
So they
and
just-
Earth don't matter that much.
So they just up and leave. That's the last time we see them as a team to get together in the game, I believe. Then, also I think the place blows up, but I might be thinking of Advent Children. But yeah, so they leave. Meteor continues falling onto the Earth, and all of the life energy comes together to stop the meteor and only destroy Midgar.
It only kills those damn dirty industrialists.
It doesn't actually. I don't remember, because most of Midgar remains in like most of Midgar stays the same. It's just I think the upper levels get like scorched a bit. So yeah, meteor falls, the life force stops it, and the life force has been explained to just be dead people, and the Earth is just using the dead people for its bidding, basically.
So Aerith did die for good reason, because she was dying to protect that.
No, but here's the thing: it wasn't the planet guiding the life force. It was Aerith.
Oh, so when she died, she became god of the life force.
No, people like that. People can if they have a strong enough will, that people can just remain the same when in their soul and just order the lesser souls around. Basically, from what I can tell.
Well, I mean, if there is an afterlife and people just stick around in the life force of the Earth, then that makes sense. Cosmically speaking, yeah.
But yeah, so Ares saves the Earth from the meteor.
Does Cloud get a sudden musical number where he does Dr. Facilier's "I Got Friends on the Other Side"?
No, the only way that they even tell you that it's Ares is they have Barrett's adopted daughter say "Flower Girl."
Oh.
And that's it. Otherwise, like I was confused about it because yes, technically that's a confirmation that it's Ares, but also it could just be the kid imagining things like.
Not in Japan. In Japan, two things are always
True.
right: nature and children.
True. But it just felt really weird to me that there's just nothing to imply that it's Ares past that thing. Like
Well,
that's the one thing, and that's it.
Had they already confirmed that the life force is built out of dead souls?
Oh yeah.
Then I would say that's a perfectly reasonable idea, that it could just be Aerith.
But they didn't. I don't think they've confirmed that people that's not Genova can use it for themselves.
Hang on. Do they have? Okay, I assume they don't, because I think Aerith's death is very sudden. But it would be. I'm kind of imagining like Aerith gets an Obi-Wan moment. Like, if you strike me down, I'll be far stronger than you could ever imagine.
No, actually, the plan just goes south, and that's just the, like stopping the meteor with the other souls is just what Eris came up with on the spot, basically.
Oh.
Because Eris went to the Forgotten City to pray for Holy to show up so they can stop the meteor with magic, and that's why Cloud and Co went to fight, and then Holy just disappeared. So that's when Ares went with Plan B of just probably sacrificing people's souls.
I mean, we're assuming souls are permanent in this case.
Oh no, it's actually a thing. Like souls are like electricity.
Oh.
Basically, is the best way I can put it. So the planet uses souls to repair itself and shit, and those souls just get assimilated into the planet, I guess, into the soil.
Boy,
and they just don't come back.
This is like super Japanese mythology, isn't it?
Yeah. And also souls can just if the souls don't have a strong enough willpower, they just split up and then form new people, which is how new people are explained. But freaking I don't even know which part to explain, because all of this is stupid. But yeah, so the Mako, the electricity that they went to using after oil became passe. The Mako is just crystallized souls.
Of course it
And
is.
yeah, and so people making material, by the way, is also made of Mako. So magic is due to the crystallized souls, but that doesn't matter as much, I guess.
Right.
So basically, the big conflict of this whole game is people are siphoning the souls out of the earth, so the earth can't repair itself.
I see. I knew there was all that stuff about sucking the energy out of the earth, but I didn't know it was supposed to be people's souls. That figures when I think about it, though. Anything else in particular to say about the game?
Not in particular, but then we can move on to the other thing that I did, which was watch Advent Children.
Oh boy!
Which ties into this.
I think I saw Advent Children when I was like 5 or 6. My parents rented it because my cousin was sleeping over, and my cousin grew up on Final Fantasy VII. I remember sitting in to watch it. I have to imagine my parents were entirely confused because I doubt they asked him the plot. But I remember sitting in and I only remember 2 scenes. One where Cloud is sitting on a motorcycle and thinking, "Oh, I'm so sad that Aeris is dead." And another scene where he remembers looking at Sephiroth as the village burns. And of course the guitar kicks in and it's awesome.
I actually don't think that I don't remember the scene where the village burns is the thing. Because yeah,
they didn't remake that scene in Advent Children?
They might have made it a thing, but I don't think they did, because from what I remember, Sephiroth is introduced as the one of the villains who is also a Sephiroth clone, like Cloud. They get like Genova blood in them, like more, I mean, and then they turn into Sephiroth. But I don't remember if they introduced Sephiroth with a blackout and flames to just call upon the imagery of the burning village, or if he just shows up. I feel like he just shows up.
Yeah. So I can see immediately one problem with Advent Children. It inherently suggests that the plot of Final Fantasy VII was pointless because Sephiroth can always just come back.
No, actually, that's the main conflict of the movie, is that they're trying to make Sephiroth not come back at all, like not be able to come back anymore.
Ah, okay. So they just gotta hunt down the remaining bits of Genova and destroy them?
Sort of. So, I don't know how many, they say how many years passed, but I forget because it was a small detail that nobody cares about. But years pass, Cloud gets an adopted son, and is also living together with Tifa now. So,
but they're not dating. They're not dating. We need to keep them available. They're not dating.
No, they are.
Oh.
They act like they don't go on a date because the movie is set during like 3 days. So and during those 3 days they're constantly fighting, more or less. So they don't have time to go on dates. But they act like a couple usually.
Okay.
They act like an anime couple without all the kissing and the hand holding and stuff.
So they're not dating, they're married.
Kind of, yeah.
And Japan
meanwhile, but while Tifa and Cloud are in a relationship, Cloud is also like, "Man, I really miss Aeris," and Tifa is also like, "Man, I also miss Aeris." and then Aeris comes back from the dead.
What? How? So then it's just a threesome.
It's
shit! We're gonna need to get a triple wide bed now.
But Aeris doesn't have an actual form. No, not a ethereal form is I think the right thing to use there.
Sweet, we don't need to get a triple wide bed.
Yeah, because she comes back as a ghost. But
oh no, a threesome with a ghost, that can't be fun.
Ghost some.
Oh no.
But
just me, my wife, and our dead friend.
Yeah. But yeah, so there are some things that I want to point out, like how Cloud's design changed and yet remained the same, and how some decisions were very bad. the leg thing doesn't work because it's not an actual like coat. It's not the bottom part of a coat. That's just coming out of his belt.
It's just half of a skirt.
Yeah, it's half of a skirt. It doesn't work. It looks bad. the like half cape on his hand I like because it has an actual narrative reason to be there, and then they also remove it for after a while because it's something useful. Actually, Cloud's shirt is the same that he had in the games. It's just colored darker for some reason. I guess it's just an artistic choice.
Darkness.
Yeah, darkness. So that and the baggy pants look bad. I mean, I would be fine with Cloud in just like if all they did with Cloud's design is just make the shoulder pad smaller and gave him baggy pants. I would be fine with that. It wouldn't look particularly great, but it would look better than the big shoulder pad.
Yeah.
And I guess he already did have kind of baggy pants in 7 since he wore like freaking
Parachute pants.
yeah, like army pants.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, Cloud still has the bike they stole from Shira, which is a nice bit of continuity. Alright, I think it's the same bike they stole from Shira.
Well, it's one of the most iconic scenes in the original game is him driving that. Like, does he drive it on top of the train?
He doesn't drive it on top of a train. They're running away from Shinra from Midgard. That's how they escape.
Oh, okay. What, does he just put Barrett and Tifa both on the back of that motorcycle?
No, Barrett, Tifa, Eris, and Red 13 they all steal like a. I want to call it a station wagon, but it's not that. It's a pickup truck. They steal a pickup truck and they're running in that, and then Cloud provides support on the bike.
Oh, okay.
So I believe it's the same bike that he has, but he's upgraded it a bit because if he turns the handle up just certain way or something like that, he just has a sword dispenser in it.
What?
So Cloud has ditched the Buster Sword. It's he leaves it in two places. One of them is kind of spoilers, I suppose. So I'll come back to that later. He just left the Buster Sword at Zack's grave because
it was Zack's sword to begin with.
Yeah. And he instead opted to make a Copy Buster sword that can be broken up to like 8 different swords.
Dumb.
I kind of liked it because it made his sword smaller. And that's basically all of it. I just liked how he had actual normal human-sized swords instead of the Buster sword. At least in one fight. But yeah, usually he still used it together as a one big Buster sword, so both parties got satisfied, I suppose. The new villains, they exist. They're just freaking Tesco brand Sephiroth, more or less, all of them. Like they actually have their own personalities for the most part, but their designs is just Tesco brand Sephiroth, definitely. Like here's buff Sephiroth. Here's normal Sephiroth, but a bit, I guess, thinner. Here's boring Sephiroth. And they have their own weapons and stuff like that. I'm bringing them up specifically because they appear in the remake.
Of course they do.
Adventure is being tied back into the remake now with it being more accurate, I suppose.
I mean, I would say that a big part of the remake is just to try and make Final Fantasy VII retroactively a lot more like Advent Children.
The main reason for that is because it's the same dude.
Oh, I know.
I didn't.
Like, it's what Tetsuya Nomura's been doing ever since Final Fantasy VII. It's why Mike fucking hates Final Fantasy, is because it's Nomura's idea of Final Fantasy, you know?
Wait, why has Nomura been working on all of the Final Fantasies after 7?
I don't know! He's the only one out of the classic team that stayed.
I mean, I suppose, but, like...
Did he?
What else? Then again, I did hear rumors. So, not confirmed or anything, but apparently there's rumors circling about that Nomura wasn't the one who pushed for all of the new shit in the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Apparently, according to the rumor I've heard or read, I guess, he was actually trying to conserve all of the game, and they gave him new writers who wanted all of the new stuff, and basically what we got in the remake is what he could negotiate.
Ah. Okay, so let me relate this back in a way that Pink can see. So, Pink, you remember the JRPG artist that tried to redesign Batman and Joker?
Pink's dead.
Oh, there he goes.
All right, Pink, speak.
Meh.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the guy behind designs such as this.
Mm-hmm.
He is the guy that's pretty much been over, like, Final Fantasy for 22 years. And he's very infamous for the ways he likes to design characters, like that Cloud design you saw with the half skirt.
Right.
Is Nomura not also the guy who makes Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, he very much is.
That makes too much sense.
I honestly prefer his Kingdom Hearts designs then, because I'll take belts over this Batman.
Oh God, the zippers! I hate the zippers in later Kingdom Hearts. Fucking.
I'm just imagining Batman with like an all-cloth getup and a lot of belts and zippers, and just calling him Batman.
I mean, Nomura would be the first guy in forever to fucking put Batman in cloth again. So, I doubt DC would let that. They'd have to be like, no, leather.
Yeah. I mean, that could still work. It wouldn't look as good, probably, but...
Oh, God. Yeah, every time... I just... The zippers. I remember... I don't remember which Kingdom Hearts game it was, but there's one Kingdom Hearts game where, like, Donald just has a shirt with 6 zippers running down the front.
I think that was 2, but I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Oh, man. Like... Oh, God. And he loves timeline bullshit. So, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake's timeline bullshit, which apparently might not be his fault for once, which, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, like, I want to have faith in this guy, even though apparently he doesn't really deserve it because Kingdom Hearts, but... but, like, I want to have faith in this guy that he was at least trying to conserve most of Final Fantasy.
I mean, throughout Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, he is always trying to constantly maintain the Kingdom Hearts themes, which are heart, shadow, heart, key, shadow, heart.
Yeah, true. But so like I want to believe that he was actually trying to push for them to keep most of the game, and then it's just the internal new team that they gave him that was trying to push for something new, and he just went, okay, you know what? Kingdom Hearts rechanged. Now with more advanced children.
Now with more dick sword.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can okay, Pink. I don't know how much Kingdom Hearts you know, but this is Donald Duck.
Ah, yes.
The shirt would look fine without without the 2 freaking vertical zippers.
I forgot he had zippers on his fucking hat.
Wait, what? I just noticed that.
And the end bit of his hat is a zipper.
Yeah.
It's not even connected to an actual zipper.
Dumb.
Has his fucking staff got a zipper on it?
No, it's Vivi. His staff is Vivi.
I know. It'd be funny if the staff had a zipper on it, though.
That's probably one that has a zipper on it.
Yeah, they just couldn't model it.
You know, like, on the topic of Kingdom Hearts, just to get off a freaking topic for a small bit, I like how people are like, Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora sucks, and it's just a leak color.
Kingdom Hearts 2 sort of sucks? What?
No, Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, the main character guy. I've heard people say that his design in 2 sucks, but it's just a recolor from what I can tell.
I think they did add a lot more zippers.
Doesn't seem to me. Seem like that to me. I'm looking at both of the designs. Maybe within the shirt, that I could see that being. There's the shirt is one big zipper. It's the best way I can describe this shirt, but it might be a thing in the first game as well. Let me look it up.
The one I remember from the first one, he's got the big clown shoes and the big baggy pants as a send up to Mickey.
Okay, no, the shirt was always a big zipper.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got a big zipper running down the middle. And he's got like 6 zippers on the sides.
Okay, let me check the shoes. They might have added zippers to the shoes. Yeah, that's all of the design change. That's legitimately all of the design change.
If someone says that they dislike the Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, like I think the primary thing there is just that they toned down the Mickey send ups. His pants aren't red anymore. His shoes aren't yellow anymore.
Well, his shoes do have yellow. The bigger issue with the design is where the zippers are on the shoe. Because the zippers on the shoe make sense. Not like this. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so dumb. I hate it.
I guess that does make it easier to put your leg into it.
Yeah. I mean, Sora, like, I think the thing with Sora is they darken his colors a little bit every game to show that he's getting older, because that's how Japan works.
Wait, did they darken his clothing in the freaking third game as well?
Yeah, I think the yellows get traded out with dark burgundy or something like that. And he gets a little bit taller, too.
I mean, that just makes sense.
I mean, Sora grows quite a bit between each game. Like, I think each game is supposed to be a year apart, so he goes from being 16 to 17 to 18. And in that time, he goes from being like 5'0" to like 5'11", which is quite a fucking growth spurt for 3 years.
Yeah. Alright, so from what I can tell, people saying that they toned down the Mickey are very much right in this one, because in that one, it was only the colors. In this one, they gave him more human-like pants.
Oh no.
They also designed the shoes to not be stupid. I mean, it's still kind of stupid, but it's not having it's not a large zipper no more.
Yeah.
This is Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora for comparison. So yeah, definitely some design changes, especially in the pants department.
Yeah. Yeah. I like his new jacket.
Yeah, I like the new jacket. I also kind of like the new pants, but that's just because I like baggy pants. So
Well, the pockets seem to be designed on his pants to kind of call to mind like samurai armor.
yeah, that too.
I like how his hair got shorter.
And also the shoes make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. The massive collars on the shoes look silly to me.
I mean, that to me just looks like, reference to like old like freaking Arthurian shoes.
Yeah.
You know how they're portrayed in the Renaissance cartoons.
Yeah.
But yeah, those do not make sense. But they were in the second game's design as well, I think.
Okay, Pink. As someone who's let me get the Kingdom Hearts 1 design for Sora.
I'll get it.
Okay.
I already have the search up, so I can just put it in there.
Okay, Pink. As someone who has not been desensitized to Japanese bullshit yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Addy brings up the Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora design, all right, which of these strikes you as the least terrible?
Oh, good lord, that's hideous.
Right, but it's supposed to invoke Mickey. It's supposed to be bright colors.
That makes sense for Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey's hideous too. So
Yeah, that's just terrible in every way.
Oh god, I never noticed that his pants and his shirt are the exact same color, so it looks like he's just wearing one big fucking bodysuit.
I think it's a onesie. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's a onesie because Mickey also used to wear a onesie.
Oh boy.
In fact, Mickey might still be wearing a onesie, I forget.
That just makes things terribly awkward.
Yeah, if you check the zipper it's a onesie.
It is. Oh my god. Oh, it never occurred to me that he's always got that little crown just below his neck, but in the first game it's always been a necklace. Okay, but it's just placed in such a way it looks like it's part of the zipper.
Yeah.
And that necklace gets smaller in every game. It's downright it's downright tiny in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, with each game, it seems like the designs went from very stylized and cartoony to more freaking Final Fantasy cartoon designs. So like a lot more calling up on realism, but still stylized to some extent.
Anime realism, you mean?
Yeah, the anime realism.
Which anime always makes kids look far more cartoonish than teenagers or adults. And for whatever reason, like 16 in anime is effectively a baby, but 18, oh, that's a full-grown man. Yeah, I never noticed that, like, Sora gets way taller and skinnier with each game. Why does Sora, the largest of the Nomura protagonists, not simply eat the other protagonists?
He's still the largest one. He has to fight Sephiroth and Cloud at the same time, and both of them have wings for some reason. Like for Sephiroth, it makes sense, but why is Cloud the other one-winged angel?
I guess because he's also like kind of a Genova clone.
But yeah, but not a Genova. They never actually call them Genova clones. Sephiroth clones, and that's it.
Is Genova the kind of lazy parent who just calls all her children the same name? Is she fucking George Foreman? Just naming all of her kids Sephiroth. Sephiroth.
Yeah.
It's Sephiroth.
Basically, yeah. I mean, no, because the antagonists in Advent Children do have different names, and the characters.
But Genova's dead by that point, right?
Genova is quote unquote dead, and then they find Genova, and then Cloud kills Genova again.
They see her, and Cloud just does the Jim Ross. Oh, son of a bitch!
Well, no, because Genova was, I guess, killed or close to it in 7, and then she was put into this box. And so she was alive in the box, which the antagonists in Advent Children get. And when the antagonists get it from Cloud just like, I think it was either Cloud or one of the Children people, because the antagonists from the game become friendly supporting characters. You know, the ones that still live. They become the
ones
friendly,
we didn't murk the shit out of.
Yeah, they become friendly supportive characters because this is literally a thing of if they don't stop Sephiroth, everyone dies. So you know, the usual shonen thing of let's turn the enemies into allies because there's a bigger enemy and the enemy wants to be an enemy to something.
Okay,
yeah.
That just reminded me of like the evil guys temporarily doing good things. It reminded me of a comic book bit that I wanted to hear if Pink remembers from any particular comic. But there was a bit where Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus at one point were fighting, and some civilians got endangered. And Doc Ock was like, okay, Spider-Man, let's put aside the fighting for now just to get the civilians out of here. And Spider-Man's like, oh, sweet, great. So Doc Ock saves like they save a shit ton of civilians from a collapsing building. And then Doc Ock throws Spider-Man back into the collapsing building and says, you're not a civilian.
Was this before or after Superior Spider-Man?
I think it kind of looked modernist, so it might be after.
So, yeah, if it's after, if it makes sense, because Doc Ock's character didn't get developed in Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, so now he wants to save most people, but it's still fuck Spider-Man.
Yeah. He just wants to kill Spider-Man out of spite at this point.
Yeah, really, it's a lot of them are like that.
But yeah, so either one of the Shinra people that's working with Cloud shoots the box, or Cloud hits the box with either a part or the full new Buster Sword. I forget.
Okay.
But basically, we get this whole fight scene between Cloud and the leader of the antagonist guys, and then the antagonist dude gets away, and it is revealed that Genova just tripped out. So we don't know if she's alive or she's dead. We can presume that she's dead because otherwise she wouldn't be a liquid, but it's hard to tell.
So, Pink, having heard all that, do you feel better about playing as Cloud, the most generic shit character in Smash Brothers?
Why did they include Naked Sephiroth instead?
Good question.
They should have. They really should have.
Sephiroth's ultimate is he just lights the stage on fire.
Sephiroth's ultimate is that he becomes all of the characters and then murders himself. And the less Sephiroth alive becomes the original Sephiroth players.
I guess if Sephiroth did have an ultimate, it would probably just be the equivalent of calling in the Majora Mask moon.
Yeah, it really bothered me, but I get why they did it. But in the writing, whenever they refer to the meteor summoned by the meteor spell, it would be like, "We need to stop meteor."
Yeah.
It's not the meteor, just we need to stop meteor. And this was not a freaking thing with the local. Like this wasn't just a thing of the localization. I don't think, if it was, then they carried it over to Advent Children, because even in Advent Children, people refer to meteor as as the magic spell and not the actual meteor that it summons.
It's like if the heroes in another game were like, "We need to stop bad guy."
Yeah, basically.
Like, it makes it sound like it's the unique name. The actual name is bad guy. But it's just that generic. Anyways, you do anything not Final Fantasy VII this week, Addy?
We need to stop Sora. I mean, Sora does just mean sky, so kind of fitting.
We need to stop Sky. Did you do anything not Final Fantasy VII related, Addy?
But I did get to the middle of my playthrough of my second playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima. Ghosts of Tsushima. That would be a different game.
Were there even goats in Japan?
No, I think there might have been goats, but not in Tsushima. I don't think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am in Act 2 of Ghost of Tsushima. I tried doing this on the hardest difficulty available, because I saw this when hard was the hardest difficulty, and that they released lethal.
Yeah.
But the thing with the hardest difficulty, because I'm doing this just so I can compare it to playing on easy, and so sometimes I just switch between playing on easy and lethal just to see how big the difference is. And overall, gameplay wise, there's like overall with what you do and how you do it, there's not really that much different between playing on the easiest difficulty and playing on the hardest.
Yeah.
Because the biggest differences I can bring up is that you take more strikes to hit on easy, obviously, and that's it.
All right.
Genuinely, the thing is, they balance this game. Like, they actually balance this game good. So the challenge in lethal isn't that you take a hit to kill and they take 50. The challenge in lethal is timing your attacks, because that's the thing I was forgetting. That's why I took a break, took a spot there to think about shit. Yeah, so the other thing that changes is actually the timing of perfect parries, which leave the opponent open. It becomes non-existent on lethal, but
okay.
But you can still hit it if you're lucky.
Okay.
So really, the difficulty in lethal comes not from just dying faster or whatever, because that's also a thing. But the difficulty in lethal is just having the right timing and knowing what to use and how to use it against the specific opponents. It's actually of well-designed difficulty level, instead of it just being a bullet, like instead of it just putting in sponge enemies.
Oh yeah, yes.
They also added an even easier mode to the game, which I also tried out just to know what the hell it does exactly. And it's more or less just easy, but a couple of the otherwise unblockable attacks that you would need to dodge got nerfed. Is the best way I can put it. They are no longer unblockable on that difficulty mode.
I feel like that'd screw people up that are coming over from that easiest difficulty, because they'll block those moves instinctively.
Yes, which is why I don't think it's particularly like. I can get why they did it, and it is tucked away. It's not an actual like difficulty you can choose in the menu. You have to go to the accessibility settings and turn it on. So that's the big thing with it. So it's for people who do not intend on playing on a harder difficulty and or can't because of reasons.
Because of like Well, if it's put in accessibility, it's for people who like have arthritis or something, stuff that actually like really inhibits their physical capabilities.
Yeah, and so for that reason, it's pretty good, and it is still challenging because not every unblockable got nerfed.
Oh,
So some of the harder ones did get nerfed, which I appreciate because I have problems with them myself sometimes. Because it's hard to see the guy with the spear poking your ass when there's also two guys with shields and flaming swords.
oh my god.
So yeah, the flaming swords are told interestingly. I could probably look into how it would work in real life because most of the things that are slightly fantasy are explained can be explained with real life stuff, or is even explicitly explained in the game, but you might need to look up a couple of things to get it.
Heh.
But how they explain flaming swords is a meteor hit one of the mountains and use the meteor to basically make sparks that set your plate on fire for a minute time. So basically, what I'm getting from all of this explanation that they did is they just remove the part where I tell you that you put oil on your sword. And then flaming sword, because that is like you can't set a blade on fire if you put oil on it. And I actually, I don't know. I'm not well versed in actual like keeping weaponry up to date and stuff like that because I don't own any, nor do I particularly plan on owning any. So I I don't know how people capture swords from dulling or stuff like that, but I have heard that in some European places, not necessarily Japan, but knights might have put like oils into their sheet to either keep the blade from dulling on, or I might be misremembering, and that might be a ninja thing for actually setting the blade on fire or throwing it in people's faces. I forget, but yeah, and that's still a good game. There are some missions that I didn't do this time around just because I'm not particularly interested in them, or I don't really feel like doing them right now, because sometimes it's just, oh well, here's this mission where you have to go on a Easter egg hunt basically to find this outfit that I don't use at all ever. So
Well, after you get it the first time, why get it again?
yeah, I did it the first time, so I don't particularly need it. And, like I could use the experience from it, I suppose, but I'm not desperate for experience either.
Hey, you can just
The
grab
game,
it as you go by.
yeah. There's also some side content that I did on the first go round that I'm not doing right now because I just got fed up. Namely the Inari shrines, because Inari shrines are all over Tsushima in real life, so they were realistic. And basically, my biggest pet peeve with all of the Inari shrines is just that, like, when I was trying to get the platinum and 100% safe file, which I still haven't done completely yet because I'm still gathering flowers. But yeah, the issue with the Inari shrines is that I would just go towards question mark on the map, and I'm like, man, I hope it's like a katana or like a bamboo strike because I like that mini game, and then it would be a fox. And I call foxes in the game furry friends. I don't know why, but by the end of that session of me just walking towards question marks and 90% of them being Inari shrines, I did start calling foxes furry fox instead. Because it was just so annoying getting ready to, oh, I'm gonna do something in this place, and then you reach the marker and it's a fox that's leading you back the way you came. Like after a while it just started feeling less like actually exploring the island and shit, and just retreading water. And that was mostly my problem, because that side content wasn't freaking designed for you to just go from one to the other and just keep doing them over and over again.
Yeah.
How the game was designed, you were supposed to find them after walking from mission to mission, and then just do them if you feel like it. And for that, they work completely fine. It's just don't either do them during your actual playthrough, or don't get them after you're done with the story, because you will probably get overwhelmed with the amount of foxes on the map.
All right.
And what else can I say? Well, I guess another thing difference between the difficulties is the stealth. By which I mean that on easy difficulty, the people notice you in like 2 seconds, and on lethal, people notice you in 1.9.
Ooh.
Now it's faster, it's 1.5 or something like that, but like still, people do notice you and get aggroed on you faster on lethal, but I didn't notice a big enough difference to really warrant the change. And that's basically my thing with all of this is like I could play through the whole game on lethal. Probably I would die a lot, but it could be possible. But there's nothing that particularly sets the experience apart from playing it on easy. It would just be for bragging rights, and there's people who want that, and good for them. I'm just one of those people. To me, the game feels complete on easy all the same, because the AI is smart for what it is anyway, and what they changed, it doesn't change enough in how the AI behaves to really warrant the change for me.
Yeah.
But then they couldn't really change the AI anyways, because the AI is already pretty aggressive. So unless the Mongols just actively start seeking you at the second you enter like a 50-kilometer radius of them, then they can't really get more aggressive. And that's all I've done, I think.
All right. Let's see. Over.
Oh no, I remembered something. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, more Final Fantasy. I also played 12. 12 is not good.
Ooh.
12 is really not enjoyable. So there's some parts of it that I'm open to the idea of buying the HD remake for PS4 just to give it an actual fair chance, I guess, for the 4th time.
You're gonna be waiting a while for a follow-up.
But I don't know where to start with it, because the world is that's basically it. Like, the thing with Final Fantasy is that most of the stories, from what I can tell, are self-contained, which is fine. It makes it so you can just jump in and out from the series and not notice too much.
It's really more of an anthology with some common common elephants.
Yeah, common elephants.
Common elements. God.
Yeah, and so I like that, but it also means that some of the worlds you're just gonna like better than the others.
Yes.
And I don't like how everything is sans, at least at least in the starting area.
But you at least like Boob Bunny Woman.
No, she's annoying. She speaks weird.
Heh. She was very clearly a Japanese fetish character, wasn't she?
Yeah, I also didn't notice that she was a freaking rabbit until after I left the starting area completely.
Heh.
Like I was like, what rabbit character are you talking about? And then I see her, because I never paid particular attention to her head aside from her face, and I just see these two protrusions, and I'm like, oh, is that supposed to be ears?
Heh.
But yeah, I didn't. I'm not trying to shit on the voice actor. I just didn't like how it all came together, and it might have just been bad direction from the voice director.
Heh.
But it just didn't turn out in a way that I really liked the performance. Similarly, for whatever reason, everyone in this world that is inspired by either Turkey or Arabia, possibly both, everyone is British.
Well, that's like, kind of just a trope for like any historical or fantasy thing is, everyone speaks with British accents.
But not the main character or his friends. Like, the main character and the main character's friend group, the 2 or 3 other kids that we get to speak with, they speak American.
Oh. Was there supposed to be an ethnic divide between the main character and the others?
No.
Oh.
But all of the people in the city, or at least most of the people in the city, I think maybe even the main character's brother, who you get to play as in the tutorial, He might even speak with British accents. And the other two guys who featuring the bunny lady, the other two guys that joined the team from outside, they definitely speak with British accents.
To be
And,
fair, there could be
yeah.
a plot revelation later in the game.
Yeah, it could be. But the combat is bad, just flat out. So, let's see if I can put this into words that Pink will understand. So, Pink.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy has been trying to do the active battle system from Super Mario RPG, but they have been trying to do it for years. But in the newer games, in the Final Fantasy VII remake and in 15, they made it so it's like a hack and slash with magic that you can sometimes cast, and that's their take on the Super Mario RPG mechanics.
I see.
And in 12, which as far as I know was their first attempt at it, in 12 their take on the Super Mario RPG battle mechanic is you stopping time to choose attack over and over again because you're out of MP.
I see.
There is actually like next to no interaction with the battle mechanic in the game. It's mostly like it's disjointed is the best way I can put it, because it feels like it would work well in a more traditional battle setting, like how it was in 7 or in 8, like because it mostly works the same as it did in those. But also there's the element of moving around in a 3D space and everybody constantly moving. That doesn't matter if you set it up the way I was playing, which I just chose not to play the game, play up to the game's bullshit, and went with the classic play style basically. Because I would much rather actually be able to choose what I want to do and not worry about the character running away, or making the character run away rather, when they will get hit anyway.
Right.
Is Duffy gone?
I'm still here. I just don't have anything to say.
And yeah, there's two things that you can choose between. There's one where you stop time when you choose any action, and you can technically move the character around, but you don't have to. There's an option in the battles in the command menu that you can check for you moving the character or the CPU moving the character. It doesn't matter which one you choose, really. But yeah, so you can either stop time when you choose moves, or you can go with the route that they probably wanted you to go, and choose to make it so selecting commands and giving commands to the character doesn't stop time, and doesn't really work when with the hitboxes they have in the game. It could work if the hitboxes weren't more like if the hitboxes weren't so RPG, basically. So I think that they definitely improved on this as time went on. I think the versions in 15 and in the 7 remake work a lot better. I wouldn't say they're necessarily better than the old way of battling, but I mean they're more interactive, and it seems like they were trying to go for Mario RPG's interactivity. So yeah. And that's about all I had to say about 12. I'm probably not gonna freaking continue playing through my PS2 copy because, well, my PS2 refuses to read it, and well, I could just play the game on my PC through legal emulation since I own the copy anyway. I just like it just doesn't seem like worth the investment. Alright, sorry for butting in them. Yeah.
No, it's no problem. Is that your week?
Yeah.
Okay. So I only really did 2 things this week. The first one was continuing watching the trilogy of the Dead. I watched Dawn of the Dead this week, which is the famous one where it's 4 dudes trapped in a mall, or 3 dudes and a chick, I guess. And where Night of the Living Dead is pretty much the first night of, and everybody's like, oh shit, what's happening? Dawn of the Dead is more like it starts off a couple weeks in, and everybody's still kind of like, oh shit, what's happening? And the police are going fucking full bore ballistic because they're saying, like, they're trying to force everybody to start giving up any dead bodies, any of your dead relatives, leave them out in the street for the police to pick them up. And people are like, no. So the police, of course, start kicking in doors and doing raids on people to try and collect their corpses to make sure that they don't turn into zombies. But of course, there are a lot of cops who are like, man, this would be a great time to get my murder boner raging. So the movie starts off with one of the cops going full bore ballistic and screaming racial slurs where he just starts shooting at minorities that are very clearly not violent at all and just trying to keep, their families and things. And resulting in the line of one of the other cops going, Woolie's going apeshit, man! And meanwhile, we also get a glimpse at what's going on in the journalism world. And that one is also a clusterfuck because all the journalists are like trying to figure out what the hell is going on. They're trying to interview scientists, but the answers that scientists are giving them are the kinds of answers they don't want to hear, which is very amusing with what we've been seeing, particularly with COVID, at least in the States. Is like, yeah, apparently it does work out like that. We do just like ask scientists, and then scientists give us an answer, and we're like, no, fuck you, we don't like that answer. Give us another one. And the journalists are just going apeshit, and at one point they're like, so we've got these safe zones that we're telling people to go to, but I just got on the phone, and all those safe zones aren't there anymore. Something happened to them. We should probably take them down. And then the journalist, like the news station's head guy, is like, we can't take down the safety stations. People will turn the channel. So the news is just telling people to go to places that aren't safe.
Womp womp.
So that's always the thing with zombie apocalypse settings to me, is like, I always wonder, like, how the hell can the zombies even win, right? Because they're slow and they're stupid. Dawn of the Dead, the way it sets it up is, we just fucked ourselves. The government and the news publications all fucked everybody up by giving them misinformation and killing innocents. So the zombies didn't win, we just lost.
Mission failed successfully.
Yeah. So, 2 journalists and 2 SWAT officers are like, alright, fuck all this, we're just gonna lock ourselves in the shopping mall and wait for this all to blow over. And they do. And it's like, cuts to 6 months later, oh boy, this sure hasn't blown over. As a matter of fact, I think everybody outside the mall's fucking dead. Oh boy. And it was pretty much like, Night of the Living Dead invented the modern concept of the zombie, right? They're slow, they're stupid, they eat people, they bite, and
they
the bite
too.
Yes. Dawn of the Dead invented the modern concept of the zombie apocalypse. And watching Dawn of the Dead, it's incredible, because I'm watching it and I'm like, this movie is so good, the zombie apocalypse genre never really moved past it.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead didn't invent the concept of zombie apocalypse. It predicted it.
Yes, nothing like. I'm looking at this and I'm like, Walking Dead didn't really do anything new or different from this. Last of Us didn't really do anything new or different from this. Like, zombies have always been a very stagnating genre, stagnating like a corpse, conveniently enough. But, like, they really haven't moved past Dawn of the Dead. That's crazy to me.
Which is one of the big reasons I dislike zombies as a horror enemy type.
Yeah.
Because vampires sometimes new stuff gets done with them that doesn't sparkly skin. Freaking, like, zombies, I guess, can be interesting when they're also vampires, like the Zhangxie. But
Yeah.
that's quite locked to China. Or, like, the pictures of Chinese mythology.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say, like, I think, like, Dead Rising, Resident Evil, and Left 4 Dead all end up playing differently with the zombie, but that's because each of those, like
they introduce new monsters that aren't zombies and not just called zombies.
And not only that, like, in Dead Rising and Resident Evil, zombies very much can be handled. Dead Rising, it is not a zombie apocalypse, it's occasional outbreaks. Like fucking outbreaks of the flu. We're not all getting killed by the flu, but like, oh shit, this town got fucked by the flu. Whoops. And like, Left 4 Dead does it differently because they're not really zombies. They're much closer to the hate plague from 28 Days Later. And it just got everyone immediately because it's airborne and anyone who isn't immune just turned immediately. So like, society as a whole, gone. It's just 4 people now running through the city trying their damnedest to get to a safe spot. But like, Dawn of the Dead, like, it's weird to like think about the genre having not really moved forward, because Dawn of the Dead is, despite being the first, despite being the most conventional, because it was the first, better than anything that came afterwards. I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead. Dawn of the Dead's a lot better than Walking Dead. It plays with a lot of ideas that, like, there are aspects of it that I feel like later zombie fiction kind of forgot. So one of the scenes in Dawn of the Dead is after they've closed off the mall, they've shut up all the entrances, and they go around and they kill every zombie that's in the mall, right? So that it's safe. Well, then there's just these very quiet panning shots showing a mall full of dead bodies. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, they may have been zombies, but this is still pretty morbid, isn't it? And I think that's something that other zombie stuff really quickly forgets, is just how disconcerting that would get to be very quickly of like, oh, you're just shooting humans in the face constantly. I mean, they're zombie humans, but they're still humans. Which is another thing Romero does differently, is that, like, there's the occasional zombies that have got injuries to them, but the majority of the zombies in Romero's setting still look human. They're just pale humans. Which adds to the weirdness of it.
I mean, how much longer is most of the movie set after the outbreak?
6 or 7 months.
Yeah, I wouldn't depending on how dead the zombie thing makes them. I guess I'm not sure if that the decomposition would have started yet.
Yeah, they kind of leave that bit ambiguous. I guess because one of the major plot elements of the Dead films is, like, the scientists don't know what the hell's happening. And the zombies are dead silent in that movie. Except for one in particular near the end. They are pretty much all quiet. Which makes...
That makes sense when you think about how it's probably a take on the, like, zombie people from Africa.
Yeah. Which Romero, like, since he invented our American concept of the zombie, he was working a lot more off the original voodoo concept of the zombie. And the thing I really like about Romero's zombies is, and this is something that, again, I don't think later zombie guys really built on, is Romero zombies still kind of remember things from being human. One of the plot elements there is that it was actually a screw-up of them to set up in the mall, because a lot of people when they get turned into zombies remember the mall being an important place in their lives. And so when they turn into zombies, they go to where they remember the mall being. So there's pretty much constantly a zombie horde outside of the mall trying to get in, because there are so many people that remember the mall being an important place in their lives. Which, of
They need to get the Hot Topic.
Yes,
There's a sale.
Yes, actually. It's part of Romero's wider, like, Romero also made all of his zombie stuff, a social commentary, which is another thing that a lot of zombie stuff forgets about. So it's a social commentary on consumerism, which gets doubled down on in the final act of the film when a certain human character starts behaving very stupidly. The movie has a sense of humor about things as well, which is something that, like, later zombie stuff is just too dark and too morbid and too joyless, you know?
Yeah.
And the zombies, like, they're kind of funny. One of the shots of the film is honestly like a zombie just seeing a fountain and being like, oh, fountain. And just face plants into a water fountain and starts playing with the coins because it doesn't understand what they are. One of the characters, spoilers, I don't say which one, but one of the characters gets bitten. And for one thing, he starts getting paler as the infection goes on. But one of the ways that you can tell he's turning into a zombie is at one point, he starts having more zombie-like reactions to things. At one point, he tries to get a hat, like a fedora, out of a tower of hats in one of the stores. And the hat's, like, it's a tower of hats, so of course they all fall on him. And where a human would be like, oh, fuck, whoops. He was kind of like, oh, hat. And he just puts it on.
That would probably be my reaction. Depending on how many people are in the shop.
Oh, another thing I want to say is one of the things is some of the zombies having better memories of like their lives also makes them a bit scarier because there are a couple times that zombies actually pick up like brute weapons, like a table leg, and start using it as a club.
I mean, the zombies having actually retaining memories somewhat gives way to justifying uh some later implementations of zombies in zombie fiction that makes no sense in that context, like zombies with a gun.
Yeah.
Because if the zombies remember how to can remember how to use a gun, then you can, I guess, wave away how they use a gun.
Yeah. If zombies can figure out guns, then people are just fucked.
Yes, I'm not saying that it's a good idea. I'm saying it's justifiable.
Yeah. Which I should note, the last film of Romero's trilogy does play a lot with zombies having memory and being able to learn. And guess what? One of the major parts of the final act is, oh no, we made this zombie too smart, it's figured out how to use a gun.
And then it turns into Zombie Rambo.
Pretty much, I think. Uh, One last thing is like, there's always been the thing with zombie fiction of, oh, the zombies aren't the real monsters, people are, right?
Right.
But like,
Usually, yeah.
the way Dawn of the Dead really doubles down on it is like, the zombies aren't even really a threat. Like, ordinarily with zombie fiction, it's like, oh, you don't want to get into a hand-to-hand fight with zombies, they'll just bite you. But the characters just punch the shit out of zombies constantly throughout this movie. They're just chucking zombies around. The zombies aren't really that strong.
I mean, they are just reanimated corpses that are moving really slow and don't usually have complex freaking thoughts. So
Yeah.
it's very justifiable for an actual normal human to be able to punch them out and run away.
Yeah, there is actually one of my favorite zombie kills in the entire film is there's a part midway through the film where a guy's on an upper floor of the mall and he just fucking picks up a zombie in a gorilla press and throws him down to a lower layer of the mall.
Nice.
I just love the idea of throwing the zombies around like rag dolls. And since the film's old, of course, it's very obviously a rag doll that's being used in that scene, but
No, that wasn't the ragdoll. That was the actual actor.
That was a very talented stuntman.
yeah, he knew how
Yeah,
to
he-
fall 20 feet without breaking his neck.
Yeah,
Very talented.
the actor knew the secret technique of all of your bones going limp. Not your body, your bones.
I mean, it winds up working out because like it's a zombie, so zombies like you can imagine zombies being so stupid that they do just kind of ragdoll when they're falling.
Yeah.
If you'll give me just a second, I need to mute myself. So, Addie, what's your favorite implementation of zombies? Since you're not fond of them, I want to hear that.
All right. That's actually quite a hard thing to talk about, just because I dislike most implementations of zombies, and most of them are to me very samey. Let's see. Well, it is a very good question. I guess with media that I have actually interacted with, I suppose my favorite versions of zombies would be the Jiangxie, the Japanese vampire zombies,
Huh.
because they can be comical because they do walk around by jumping on both feet.
The bunny
And
hop zombies, right? Is
the one
Xianko not
zombie
supposed to be one of those?
she is
Oh, okay. I always figured she was supposed to be a Chinese vampire.
Chinese vampire zombies. Yes,
Well, isn't the Chinese vampire
they're
a little
both.
differently? Like he needs to count rice and all that.
No, I think I'm pretty sure the Jiangxie are both vampire and zombies because they are reanimated corpses, but they also suck blood.
Okay, I see. I mean, vampires are technically reanimated corpses, aren't they?
But yeah, but I think I think Jiangxia, like, I think the difference that's supposed to be made, like, I think Jiangxia is supposed to be the link between vampires and zombies, and the difference between just being normal vampires or being just normal zombies is that, well, they suck blood, so they're not just normal zombies, and there's a lot of them, so they're not just normal vampires. Because usually there's not a lot of vampires.
Ha!
But that's like the slow movement and not being able to turn to bats and stuff.
Ah, I see.
But-
Okay. Pink,
But yeah,
what's...
so yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, finish.
But yeah, I find them to be the most interesting just because, uh, just like just like how they are slightly different to the Western counterparts, how you get rid of them is also slightly different. Because Zhongxie, from what I can gather, aren't usually killed by headshots and stuff like that. Zhongxie are killed by putting a blessed like cloth. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. Like a blessed talisman on their forehead, which makes it so they go back to their eternal sleep or something like that.
So like how vampires hate the cross.
Yeah, basically, they are more vampires in that. Yeah, but I kind of like that. How this is applied to zombies, I guess, because it does make it different. Think of, well, you're not really trying to fight it, and you can't really fight it particularly. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't do much because they just get back up. You need to put the spell on them so they can't move. Then they go away.
All right. Didn't Sleeping Dogs have a zombie DLC?
Yes.
Why?
Because a lot of the enemies died, and they wanted to do more stuff with them, and also because I think there were a couple of like horror kung fu movies or something like that, and the other DLC was just a stand up to the two old kung fu movies. So
I see.
it might have just been they might have just been references to different genres in Chinese cinema.
You know what? Now it occurs to me, like, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare was a big success. Was that Undead Zombie DLC and Yakuza Zombies also trying to appeal to that?
Possibly.
What was the name of the Yakuza Zombie game? Dead something, right?
Dead Souls.
Dead Souls.
It was something like that. Yeah, I think it was Dead Souls. I remember, if I remember correctly, the Japanese version has a better name, but I'm gonna look that up.
All I remember this. What I remember is a scene from Dead Souls where Pink, you need to get to playing Yakuza 0 someday because you'd love...
Yes, Yakuza Dead Souls does have a better name in Japanese.
Oh, what is it?
Yakuza of the End.
Yakuza of the End.
That's
cool, but it kind of implies like that it's the end of the series.
Well, yeah, kind of, but I just really like, but technically it's like a Dragon of the End, but
like a Dragon of the End. Okay, that sounds a lot cooler.
But yeah, because you know the Japanese name for Yakuza is Ryuga Gotoku, which means like a dragon. So it is like a dragon of the end. And
they
that enemy, yeah,
they should re-release that game now that American zombies are more popular in Japan.
It's not the issue wasn't the zombies. The issue was the gameplay. They need to remake that game, and then they can release it, because apparently the gameplay was very aged when it released.
Oh.
So I can't imagine how it would be right now.
So Pink, you have in Game Pass, you gotta play through Yakuza 0, because you would love Majima. But
I think I've installed it at this point. I just haven't gotten around to playing it.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, I've only seen one scene from Dead Souls, and what I remember is, there's a scene where Majima is just sitting on his couch, watching a zombie movie, and he's like, "Haha, I love zombie movies." And a zombie walks in through the door. Majima turns his head. The camera pans to the zombie's face, pans back to Majima's face. And like Majima's face is still frozen in that smile, right? Pans back to the zombie's face, pans to Majima, pans to the zombie, pans to Majima. Then it pans to the zombie one last time, but this time it's got a 12-gauge shotgun barrel in its mouth. Majima just pulls the barrel and blows its head off.
Yeah, because unlike most of the other Yakuza games, Kiryu and Majima and everyone else kill people because they're technically not people.
Yeah, they're already dead.
Yeah, but like I'm looking at the or the Western cover, and it's freaking Majima has an assault rifle, Kiryu has a sniper rifle, and Akiyama is dual wielding freaking pistols akimbo.
Of course he is.
I don't know why, because he's the agile one of the group, but I don't know how that ties into akimbo pistols. Also, this game came out a lot later than I thought because apparently it released in 2011 in Japan and in 2012 everywhere else.
That was about the time that like the zombie craze was getting real hot.
Yeah. But actually, Pink, you can play this game because it's on PS3.
Huh.
Oh.
So yeah.
Let me wrap up. Oh no,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I think you were going. I think you were going to ask Pink what's his favorite zombies before I cut you off with ending my junk shitting.
Okay, Pink, your favorite zombie fiction.
I really like Solomon Grundy in Justice League.
Oh yeah,
You
he's
know,
good.
they killed him off in like the first season, then they brought him back, and he could only be killed by Hawkgirl's magic mace, and that was pretty sad, yo.
Yeah. I always love that Solomon Grundy comes back with a different personality every time.
It's good, man.
It's like the ultimate writing excuse to have him flip between being a good guy and a bad guy, depending on what the writer needs.
Right.
And that's most of what comic books is, writing excuses.
Since 1994.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay.
Oh, apparently I pronounced the junk shit incorrectly, and I pronounced it 3 different ways just today, and all of them are not correct.
It happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in Dawn of the Dead, the zombies aren't the real threats, and the main characters kind of just beat the shit out of them throughout the whole movie. Spoilers for Dawn of the Dead, skip ahead, like, I don't know, 2 minutes. But the real threat arrives when some bikers contact him on the radio, and he's like, hey, do you want us let us in to loot your store? And the main characters are like, no. So the bikers come in anyways. And, well, in order to get in, they have to open the damn doors, so that lets in all of the zombies ever. They just run around ransacking the store. And the one of the main characters makes it explicit, like, just let the bikers through, man. Just let them steal shit. We don't care. Like, we'll just lock this place back up and kill all the zombies they let in. But another guy's like, no, they're stealing my stuff. So he goes in and starts shooting all the bikers, so they start shooting back. Turns into a big clusterfuck. Loads of people die. The mall gets entirely overrun by zombies again. And have either of you guys ever heard the music track The Gonk?
I don't think I have.
don't know.
It's one of the classic comedy music tracks that gets played like in the same way as Yakety Sax or Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's the kind of song that they'll often edit in a video to indicate like someone's being a fucking idiot.
Ah.
So the film largely ends on the 2 remaining surviving characters escaping the mall, and it just cuts back to like where they put in all this work to make the mall completely safe, and it's just full of zombies again, and it just plays The Gonk. And the fact that it's such a comedic song that they used almost feels like one last fuck you to the characters. All that work that you put in, all those people that died to make them all safe, and just one gang of bikers ruined all of it. Woohoo. It works though. It works very well. There's one part I absolutely love. So one of the bikers are of course your usual band of thugs and hoodlums, and one of them is running around like in Nazi getup, except for a sombrero. But he's like otherwise covered in swastikas and like skulls and all that shit, the Nazi stuff. And He has, at one point earlier in the biker fight scene, he ignores the fight altogether to go get his blood pressure taken at one of those little things that you sit down in and it cushions around your arm, right?
Yeah.
And the other bikers pull him away and go like, what the fuck are you doing, man? We're in a gunfight. Don't try to get your blood pressure taken. Then the other bikers start either getting shot in the head or getting eaten by zombies. So the sombrero biker is like, finally, the perfect time to take my blood pressure. And yeah, he's just sitting there taking his blood pressure, and a bunch of zombies come over. And the sombrero Nazi biker is just like, I did not think this through. And yeah, he just gets stuck in the blood pressure taker as the zombies eat him.
And the zombies take that blood pressure.
Yeah. No, the zombies take his blood pressure into their mouths.
True.
They put a lot of work in with the blood and gore in this movie, by the way. Though it's it's one of the things though is that the blood and gore, like the guy in charge of special effects, really didn't like it when he was doing it. He felt that they cheaped out because the zombies are all painted pretty well blue. The zombies pretty much look blue, and the ketchup, the blood, it's not ketchup in this one at least, but it's very clearly
It's raspberry sauce.
It almost looks like they're just having red acrylic paint poured down them. Where it's very obviously not, like, it's way too viscous. It's not nearly as thin as blood should be. It's very thick liquid pouring out of people's wounds. And the special effects the guy in charge of special effects, Tom Savini, who is famous as one of the best in the industry, walked away really displeased with it, and he wanted to do better work on later movies. But George Romero liked it because he thought it made the whole movie come off as very comic booky, very pulpy. Because in comic books, zombies would look blue and the blood looks very thick, you know? Or at least in old...
Right.
It makes things look kind of Jack Kirby-esque, even though it's...
Yeah, it makes it pop out more and stand out.
Yeah. And there are times where I'm like, it's a little bit silly, but at the same time, I have to agree with Romero that it does lend the film a certain visual style. Which, with live-action film, you gotta do weird things like that to give your film a certain visual style. It also makes the zombies just look more unnatural and unearthly, with the fact that they look blue, you know?
Yeah.
That was a very good movie. I really walked away really enjoying it. And the other thing I did this week is, well, last podcast, I was talking with Soon, and Soon was like, oh, the Holy Roman Empire Medieval 2. The easiest. Too easy. Just so easy, I refuse to play them. Too easy. And I was like, I don't know, man. They start in the middle of the map. Germany's like in the center of Europe. That's really bad because you can get fucked from any direction, you know?
Yeah. We've got World Wars to prove that.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I want to record something anyways. I'm going to record playing as the Holy Roman Empire in Medieval 2 just to see how incorrect Soon is. And boy, he's super incorrect. I started up the game and it's just like, oh, Venice has declared war on me. Milan has declared war on me. Poland has declared war on me. The Pope has declared war on me.
War has declared the Pope on me.
Oh no.
That's probably worse.
And ordinarily in Total War, I like to invest in my economy first. Not today. Yeah, everybody pick up your fucking swords. And I'm like, I've been so focused on waging war in Italy that brigands and rebels and bandits are just completely running free through my lands. Like, I can't stop them.
I mean, really, if you want to play the whole Roman Empire, canon, then all you need to do is speak in German, suck.
Yeah, lose territory.
Yeah, lose territory, be a disgrace.
Have a horribly incestuous royal family.
For Nazism. But
which one?
Eventually, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, this game came out in 2006, by the way. And I guess back then, it was a lot more acceptable to just be like, oh, Germans equals Nazis. So, all of the Holy Roman Empire characters are just, like, speaking like, full Nazi stereotype, and they talk about the Reich, and the pride of the German people, and all that, right?
Womp womp.
Which, yeah, I'm sure the Holy Roman Empire had Nazi aspects there, but I don't think they were just full-scale fucking SS Gestapo.
Yeah, no, not yet. No, not yet.
Oh, man. The other thing is, Germany has a rough time comparative to everybody else, because they start off with, like, the most generic shit roster. Like, you kind of got a baseline to go off with. Like, every Medieval 2 faction starts off a little bit with just base generic shit roster. Spears, knights, archers. That's what you start off with. But most other European nations generally have at least a couple early units to set them apart. You know, England can get fucking Sherwood archers, the merry men, Even though Robin Hood was fictional, you can still recruit him for some reason. France gets really good cavalry to start off with. Spain gets dudes with javelins. Germany, no. Spears, archers, knights. You don't start off with anything else special. So I'm just trying, at this point, I'm just trying to, like, well, the first thing is take Rome, because the Pope needs to go. He just has to go. I'm sick of him. The Pope has to go.
It's just the way it's gotta be.
I'm on the way to, like, making, like, the Holy Roman Empire, as Voltaire said, neither holy nor Roman nor an empire, right?
Right.
I'm at least gonna make it, like, where the holy and Roman parts are true.
We're gonna take the Holy Roman parts.
Yeah, we're just not an empire. Yeah, so at this point I'm just trying to go hard for capturing Rome, and also just focus on progressing down the tech tree until I can get some units that aren't shit. Because I'm like, everyone I'm fighting against has at least one unique unit that poses a problem. Like, the Pope gets really good guards, so they can just, like, their infantry fucks my infantry up in straight up fights. And
I mean, what you need to do with the Pope is just need to kidnap him
and fist
then
fight him?
glue him to France.
Oh, yes, exactly. We'll just stick him on the wall somewhere, and somebody will be like, hey, where's the Pope? And we'll just say, hey, he's stuck to the wall.
just super glue him into a passing Versailles. He'll be fine.
Italy apparently in this time period had a real crossbow fetish. So, oh boy. And I'm pretty sure France will be declaring war on me again, too. And Denmark. So I'm about to get it from the east, the south, the west, and the north.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. The only people I can trust is Hungary. Like, they're being nice. They're being allies, and they're giving me money and all that stuff, and it's good. So, thank God for Hungary. Fuck everyone else.
I just want to point out that throughout all of history, Hungary was on the wrong side of everything. Just everything, ever. I actually don't remember the last time we were on the right side.
Yeah. I mean, the war, like, they got invaded by the Turks and the Mongols, and they were able to keep them out, and I'd say they were on the right side there, because the Turks and the Mongols were the aggressors.
Yeah, that might have been the last time. I think the Turks were after the Mongols, but I don't remember.
And there are some wars where there's just not a right side. World War I, there wasn't a right side. Well, anyone who fought the Turks, I guess, because the Armenian genocide, but they didn't know about that at the time, so it wasn't really that right.
Happy coincidence, I suppose.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Right. And yeah, I'm really hoping Hungary holds, because I'm going to end up having to wipe out Poland. And if I have to take out Poland, I really need to hope that Mongolia doesn't get through Russia. Which they almost certainly will, because Russia sucks in this time period. But,
feed Poland to Hungary. Make it that territory. Reestablish Great Hungaria.
That's actually a really good idea. Because, like, my whole thing here was, I should focus on attacking France first before I got declared war on by everybody. Because I wanted to go...
Oh, that's like the reverse of the World Wars.
I wanted to go west, because that gets me away from the Mongols. Because the way this game works is, like, ordinarily, by turn 80, you can afford to have maybe 4, 5, or 6 armies running around on the map. And at turn 80, on the far east of the map, the Mongols spawn with, like, 15 armies. And Genghis Khan at the head, and Genghis Khan has a special ability where he is super terrifying and can make your army rout upon just seeing him. So
is Genghis gonna implement it so he sends couriers to you, so you can just say, "Okay, Genghis, this is your territory now."
Yeah,
and he just leaves you alone. You just pay taxes sometimes.
Yeah, you pretty much, like, it's one of the things I've seen is, like, some people talk about, like, the Turks in this game. The Turks playing their campaign is weird because you in the space of one game, go from being Europe's greatest existential threat to its fucking saving grace. Because there's a good chance the Mongols try to go through Turkey, and you are the only thing stopping them.
You know, I always forget and then remember whenever Genghis Khan comes up that it's actually supposed to be pronounced Chinggis Khan.
I try my best, like, to do Chinggis, but like it's so close to Chungus.
Yeah, Big Chinggis. the big Chinggis came all the way from Asia. It was too powerful. Anyway.
Oh, fuck. So I'm excited to continue playing that. I'll probably gotta continue playing that right after we're done recording this. But yeah, I'm really hoping that I can keep Poland and Hungary alive long enough that they'll have to deal with Genghis and not me. Or he just spawns in the Middle East. If he spawns in the Middle East, that'd be great, because that's way the fuck away from me, and I don't like the Byzantines. So.
Genghis spawns in the middle of the whole Roman Empire.
Oh no.
He teleports in there. He teleports in there. He has Ultra Instinct.
Oh no. It's a power he stole from the Chinese.
Yeah.
Medieval 2 is a clunky-ass game, but it's still enjoyable in a lot of ways. And that's pretty much my week, so I believe we can call that a podcast. Addy? You know what to do. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. I have pizza.
Colonel,
I need you to do it.
Colonel, I have pizza. Do you want any? Colonel.
Snake, pizza was invented in the year by Ronaldo Pizza.
Pizzolini.
Ronaldo Pizzolini. Oh man, did I ever tell you guys about the stupidest bit of Warhammer 40,000 lore ever?
No.
So, the Space Marines have two vehicles, the Land Raider and the Land Speeder. Now, when you hear these, it's obvious like why they're named what they are named, right? It raids the land, it speeds over the land. They retconned it a couple years ago, so the vehicles are named the Land Raider and Land Speeder because they are invented by a guy named Archon Land.
I see.
That's good.
It's like if the Space Marines were invented by, like... this is why I saw, like, the Audios guys joke about. It's like if the Space Marines were invented by Jimmy Space.
Even better.
The United States Space Marine Force was established by President Space Trump. They're not actually trying to keep the space safe. They're just named after him.
Oh man. I love stupid lore. Imagine if the Iron Man suit, right, in Marvel, Tony's name was just Tony Iron. Tony Iron.
Peter Spider.
Peter Spider. That kind of stupid naming reminds me when Stan Lee had to re-envision all the DC characters. Bruce Bat. Reminds me of I don't want to keep this podcast going with stupid lore, but there was actually a codec conversation in Metal Gear Solid 2 where Raiden calls up Snake after seeing Vamp for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And Snake says to him, he likes to drink the blood of the people that he kills. And Raiden goes, oh, so that's why they call him Vamp. And Snake replies, what? No, they call him Vamp because he's bisexual.
They call him Vamp because Vamp is his favorite band. From what I remember, Vamp is actually a Japanese band.
Probably, yeah. Snake is half Japanese, actually.
He's a big weep.
Big weeb.
Also, I said accidentally said with a P, so I guess he's a big weep.
A big weeb. He too much
He
cry.
cries a lot. Yeah.
Alright, Addy, say bye! Not again!
We broke it.
I broke Addy. He's bugged out. He won't say the lines, so he can't progress with the quest. Quick, reload an old save!
Alright.
You made the call quality worse.
Okay. It looked like to me, because I was trying to put this on, and it kept getting turned on and then turning itself off.
Okay,
This
you're inside a box now.
the man in the box.
Rub your nose and shit.
Yeah. So I tried to turn that shit on, and it kept saying that it kept turning itself off, seemingly. But I guess it didn't really. This
Ah.
freaking this beta voice cancelling doesn't really work
No, it doesn't.
in any shape of the word.
It super doesn't. Say bye. Pink, say bye.
The pizza
Bye.
is aggressive.
Thank you, Addy, for saying bye is aggressive.